he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. No, I'm lost in your freedom. And this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring. Let heaven roar. Like radiant diamond bursting inside us, we cannot contain. Your love will.
Good morning and welcome to the Games Report this Friday, November 3rd, 2017. 8th year of Chungi, 9th month, 15th day by the heavenly calendar. I'm your host, Hyung. Thank you, Chanigo. And let's go to Tim, the agent elder, for our accurate weather forecast. Tim.
It's a comfortable morning this morning. Not too cool, not very warm, but not also. But it's a comfortable 57 degrees, cloudy, and we're going to go up to 69 degrees today. So it's going to be a relatively warm day.
Wow.
But then tonight, boom, it's going to go back down.
Boom.
Low tomorrow morning, 34 degrees, and high.
Wow, 34.
Yes.
Wow.
The high tomorrow will be lower than this morning's low.
So it'll go from 70 degrees to 34
Yes.
in one night.
Yes.
70 degrees to 34. Wow,
Yes, we're
okay,
having,
that's going to be
tomorrow.
some. That's a fluctuation.
That's a fluctuation, yes.
That's a massive swing.
Yes. So today a high of 69, tomorrow a high of 54. And then after that, it will recover again slowly. The Sunday, occasional rain and drizzle, high of 60. And Monday, cloudy and mild with showers at 67. But then the next day, Tuesday, back down to 52. So we're still on this roller coaster ride for a few more days.
Okay, this is a time where people have to be careful for getting colds, you know?
Yes,
Because when your body is fluctuating in these kind of temperatures, it's hard to thermoregulate,
it is.
you know? So if you don't always have a warming layer, you're going to get stuck with your body temperature dropping so much, and boom, that's when you get a cold. It's interesting, if you regulate your temperature well, and always carry around a bushcraft jacket or a down jacket or something in your pack, or in your purse, then you actually can avoid a lot of colds. It's just that core body temperature dropping, you know, when you have these mood swings of the weather. And your temperature too, it just starts fluctuating. That's when your body can't handle it, you know. All right, Tim, thank you for that this morning. Now let's go to our Rima today. We are in Mark 6, last section in chapter 6, entitled, Many Touch Him and Are Made Well. Verse 53, when they had crossed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret and anchored there. And when they came out of the boat, immediately the people recognized him, ran through that whole surrounding region, and began to carry about on beds those who were sick to wherever they heard he was. Wherever he entered, into villages, cities, or country, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might just touch the hem of his garment. And as many as touched him were made well. And there you go. This is after the subsection. Jesus walks on the sea. Okay, so the very many miracles, of course, of Jesus And of course, you could see a lot of the people chasing after Christ for the miracles. Chasing after Christ because one of their family members and or maybe they were sick or something like that. But again, you see Christ becoming increasingly frustrated with this. And of course, Father even said that that's why he did not perform miracles. Because people just focus on just the miracles and not on the kingdom of God. So, it's interesting. Christ did not say, and I will teach you of the gospel of miracles. And I will teach you of the gospel of healing. And I will teach you of the gospel of the sick being made whole. But he preached about the gospel of the kingdom. He said, you will always have the sick with you. The poor with you. But you will not have me at all times. So even in the kingdom, you may have the poor. You may have sickness. Of course, in the kingdom, you have so much incredible technology, which is almost like a miracle. But it won't be controlled by the monopolistic pharmaceuticals. And since there'll be true free markets and a government that cannot increase beyond 10% GDP, the different pharmaceutical lobbyists and international conglomerates cannot collude with it in the manner that it colludes with America and tax farm people at the same time. Sort of force inoculate your children in schools and make money on Gardasil shots that paralyze Indian children and Latin American children and destroy women's ovaries to stop them from reproducing. I mean, just top news today, look at this. Prince William was talking about depopulation again. I mean, these inbred British, these inbred House of Windsor, which means Germanic, Transylvanian descent, quote, royals. Again, their next generation now is talking about depopulation again. And we'll go over the article today, but what are they talking about? They're talking about Africans are the problem. They reproduce. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. It's just the continuation of British colonialism over Africa. It's just a continuation of the false House of Windsor, which is not even of British descent. They're Transylvanian and of Germanic descent. Prince Charles is famous for admitting that he is the descendant of Vlad the Impaler and Count Dracul of Transylvania, from which the Dracula legend comes from, because they drank children's blood and killed children. And of course, that's what the British or the fake British monarchy is continuing to do, holding that tradition up. Of course, they show their hatred for humanity, and show their hatred for black people, and show their racist, colonialist, bigoted, misogynist, narcissistic, arrogant hatred by again saying Africa needs to be depopulated. I mean, they are just so sick. But again, all the people in this Rima here trying to come after Christ because they want to be healed. And yes, those who touch Jesus are healed. But Jesus doesn't want you to just be healed and just say, thank you, Mr. Doctor, and now I'm fine and go on my wiki ways. Hey, I have no more cancer now. Time to sleep around again. You see what I'm saying? Hey, I got no more debilitating diseases. I'm healed. Hey, time to visit some hoes. And unfortunately, this is what's happening. This is what was happening with a lot of people who are getting healed. Hey, I got my cure. I'm better. Yay. Now I can sin again. No, Christ didn't heal so you can sin. He healed so that you would repent, that you would enter the kingdom. So that it wouldn't be about you, but would be about protecting the kingdom. It is an interesting fact of the matter that, of course, the power of healing attracts so many people because many people are sick or fall ill. And of course, it is a very desperate situation when you are ill. So there is a temptation to just seek Christ when you are ill. What was that story? There was a cute little story that the Queen was telling me the other day. Sort of not an anecdotal story, but a story where somebody asked God, God, why do you give me so much hardship and tribulation? And God said, oh, that's easy. Because otherwise, you never seek to talk to me. Isn't that interesting? A lot of people don't ever pray to God, don't ever talk with God, don't ever try to empathize with God, don't ever repent to God until some calamity befalls them. So think about it from God's perspective. Okay, when you're happy, or when you're totally fine and everything's going your way, you don't even think about God. Doesn't even cross your mind. But things start turning bad. Things start flipping around. Things start becoming unclear. Things start getting sidetracked. Things start breaking down. And you say, I can't do this alone. I need to rely on God. And so thus you start praying again, praying. And God says, oh, okay, now you remember me. Oh, now you remember me, huh? And then it happens again. You're delivered from that issue or whatever. And then you forget God again. It's kind of like children who only go to their parents when they start getting broke. After a while, those parents get sick and tired of those kind of children. Sick and tired. You little conniving, exploitative, self-serving, abusers of your parents. Right? That's the perspective. Whereas if you have another child who always just wants to hug and snuggle with you, and whether they're going through some calamity or not, or just they're happy, they just want to snuggle with you. Think about the difference. Think about the difference of that. They may still be your same children. They may have still come from your seed and from your womb. But the level of chung, in Korea call it chung, or artistic connection, is 1 billion times different. Because one only comes to you when they're broke and they've squandered everything. And one comes to you because they just like to snuggle with you. Which one do you think the parent will love more. And you can scream unfair all you want. You're the trash bag. You're the narcissist. You're the self-centered one that wants to exploit your father. And you're exposed. So your father doesn't like you. He may love you, but he doesn't like you. He may love you, but he don't like you. You see that? See the difference? You can still love that kind of bastard child, but you don't have to like them. Oh, Lord. So, of course, Christ gets frustrated and then many times runs away into the wilderness because he's sick and tired of all these children trying to run after him just to get something from him. Because God is a personal being. He's like a human, because humans are made in the image of God. He is like human. He is human-like. And any human being does not like people that only come to them when they can get something from them. Anybody doesn't like that kind of person, including parents. Your Father in heaven is a saint. He doesn't like you if you just go to him when you need some kudos and benefits. He likes the child that always wants to snuggle with him. He likes the child that always just wants to be around and like hug on him and latch onto him. He likes the child, whether good or bad times, the child that always comes to hug him. Because that child has genuine love for his presence. Genuine appreciation. If that child doesn't have him, then he feels empty. That child feels empty, alone. God feels loved. He feels needed. He feels acknowledged for who he is as a father. Like any father. He doesn't like the child he may love the child, but he doesn't like the child who only wants something, and that's when he comes. He only comes when he wants something or needs something, or he's bankrupt. Daddy, I need more money. Daddy, I need to get more things from you. That kind of child nobody likes. You may love them as a father or mother, but you don't like that child. See the difference? The world of Shimjungshige and Chung is discriminating. But if you think about it, it's not weird. It's not that only fathers and mothers do that. It's everybody does that. Think about your friends. You have a friend that never shows up, never gets you a birthday present, never takes care of it, never says hi, and then, because they were friends with you in high school, 10 years, 20 years later, they say, oh, I'm bankrupt, give me some money, I'm your friend from high school. You're like, you haven't been involved in my life. You haven't even got me a birthday present. You haven't even said congratulations when I got married and had 3 children. Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You haven't been part of anything. And now you show up on my doorstep, entitled and expecting that I have to give you money and trying to pull on my moral heartstrings. And look, I love you as my high school best friend, but I don't like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Anybody would not like that. Think about it, right? So why would your God in heaven, who's also personal, like that kind of child as well? He may love that child. He may not exclude that child, but that child will not come close in his heart. Do you see that? That child may be allowed into his house, but he will not be the benefactor to that child. In fact, if that child continues to do that too much, he may actually kick him out of the house for his own benefit, for his own good. Isn't that interesting? Maybe that's why some people are kicked out of the kingdom of God. This is an interesting scripture because Father really touched on this, because people always used to ask Father, why don't you heal? Father, why can't you, this person has cancer. This person has a debilitating disease. This person whom you love has this or that. Father, we know you can heal because we saw you touch the African-American pastor, the black pastor, and boom, he was healed of cancer. So we know you can do it if you want. There's another sister, another pastor that Father healed, just smacked her on the shoulder or something like that, and boom, she was healed. They have those testimonies, actually. But Father hated doing miracles, just like Jesus hated and hated doing miracles. And actually had to flee because that's all the people wanted him for. They didn't want to love him as a father. They didn't want to love him in a true, deep, artistic relationship where they surrendered to him and truly uphold and honor and love him. They wanted him for the benefits. They wanted him for the material pleasures and comfort. And I get it. It's not bad that people want to be healed. It's not bad that people want, to live in a house. It's not bad that it's not necessarily bad that people want to survive and thrive. But that's not the reason why God sends his only begotten Son. So you can succeed and thrive in the secular world. Even though in the kingdom, a lot of people will succeed and thrive, especially if they serve others and maintain good reputations and good integrity. So it's not necessarily, obviously it's not necessarily bad. I'm just, if you have success and thrive, because you could be very generous. You could serve God and you could contribute to ministries and you could continue to preach the gospel. You could even, I've seen some CEOs that take time off to go do missionary work. And they don't even tell their employees about it. They don't brag about it, So you could do great things when you're wealthy, blessed by God, materially. You could be a very generous person. Not all rich people are greedy, like the communists always try to pretend they are. A lot of rich people are very generous. They're very philanthropic. They want to do something with their wealth that helps the larger community. And in China, you have tons of families like that. You'll have tons of dynasties and tons of families like that. That operate soup kitchens and support ministries of missions and you know what I'm saying? They're gonna have tons of that do private welfare. You know what I'm saying? That do private loans and entrepreneurship and help young people find employment through different nonprofit organizations. You're gonna have that in China. You have tons of that because the federal government is not legally allowed to do that. The people will do it. And of course, the people who are able-type, generous, artistic people will create those kinds of organizations with the wealth that God gave them. So you'll have a lot of that. And you'll have doctors that heal patients and treat patients during the weekends and have an open clinic. That's how it used to be in the 1920s. You'll have Christian doctors that go and try to, give free eye exams to the poor. I mean, they're already doing it. They already do that. Even though the government tries to regulate them out of existence and tries to make them go through Obamacare, the Christian doctors go to different countries and provide medical services because they can't do it in the U.S. for free. Because you have to go through some stupid federal bureaucracy. But they'll actually go to different countries, like India or some other place, to give medical services. You know what I'm saying? Because the U.S. basically doesn't allow you to do that out of the goodness of your own heart. You have to do it through some stupid federal bureau. In China, that can't happen. You can do it through churches. You can do it through organizations that are not the federal government. And as Tim was saying at the town hall meeting, of course, which is true, the church is not a federal government. The church is not a government. The church is an ecclesiastical body. And in China, you'll have many churches. You'll have many big churches. You'll have many huge religious organizations. You'll have many different types of religions as well. But of course, Christianity will be the most dominant. Just like in America, because our founding fathers were Christian Protestant, the country is dominantly Christian, right? 70% say they believe in a Christian God. Is that right? About 70%, right? Anyways, it's dominantly Christian and dominantly Protestant. I think about, 58% or so say that they are Protestant or believe not necessarily in Catholicism, but in the Protestant biblical, in the Bible. In any case, so in Chinese culture you have that too, because the dominant theme, the ethos, the culture is a Christ culture, okay? It is a Christ culture, a Protestant ethic. Now, it is a tolerant ethic as well. We're tolerant of other religions as well, but we do not, some religions create ravagingly devastating anti-sovereignty cultures like Sharia law Islam. So those religions will be naturally monitored and managed from the local level up, especially if they're cutting off genitals of little girls and doing pedophilia and stuff like that. They will be prosecuted. Just like in America, they are prosecuted. Of course, Hillary Clinton and the DNC was trying to get rid of that so that Sharia law could thrive here and then use it as a strong arm to take down the country and to make it communist and socialist, even though they'll backbite each other and turn around each other and destroy one another in the end. But that's how lascivious the predators are. They just want the meal now. They see the sheep, they want to kill it now. They want it to be fed now. They want the power now. They don't care about 100 years later, 200 years later, 300 years later. They want it now. You see what I'm saying? And these power-hungry money grubbers, Chuck Schumers and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Hillary Clintons and the Bill Clintons and the rhinos like Paul Ryan, they're just like that. They're predators that want it now, power now, at any cost, Ally with Sharia law, cut women's genitals off, rape little children. Fine, that's fine. Ally withhold it. Yes, do it, get the power now. You see what I'm saying? They want the pleasure now. They want the power now. You see? And Jesus was frustrated. He got sick and tired. He had to run away to the seas and to the wilderness. Look at even farther. People always chased him around like these hordes because they wanted some benefit. Father, I have this project. I want you to give me money. You see what I'm saying? Like this. Father, I want this. Father, I want that, right? And so, just like Jesus, Father had to go on the oceans. Just like Jesus, he had to go into the deep wilderness. Because the people wanted something from him. They want to use him as leverage to support their group. So, of course, you see the same frustration Jesus faced as well. How are we going to walk down the marketplace and everybody's bringing everybody out? Jesus, help me, touch me. He didn't help everybody. He didn't help everybody. He couldn't physically, go around and touch everybody because Jesus was also in the flesh. He was 100% man, 100% God, 100% man as well, though. So he was localized in time and space. He couldn't all at once heal everybody in the whole world. And there would be no more disease, and there would be no more sickness, there would be no more tears. Interesting, very interesting. Begged him that they might just touch the hem of his garment. Let me just touch you, let me just touch you, touch me. Right? But Jesus had a purpose. He had to keep moving. Maybe he was going to the synagogues. Maybe he was going to chastise the Pharisees. He was on his way somewhere and people, oh, let me touch you, let me touch you, let me touch you. You see what I'm saying? Jesus didn't stop at all times. Every time somebody asked him, heal me, he didn't stop and say, I'll heal you. He moved on. Is that cruel? Do you deserve to be healed? No, you don't. Healing is by grace. Healing is if God chooses to heal you. No one deserves to be healed. We're all going to die anyways. Nobody deserves to be living. I mean, nobody deserves, right? Nobody deserves, you think about it. Nobody deserves to even be living. Think about it. There's nothing you did or that you earned that makes you deserve to live. It could have been any other zygote or sperm. What is that? Is that right? There's many zygotes in a sperm. Is that right?
I don't think so. I think.
Or a zygote is a
an ovum, sperm.
Sperm and ovum. Oh, right.
Zygote,
right. A sperm and ovum is a zygote. There's many spermata in a sperm, right? In sperm.
I wasn't so good in biology.
What are those? Yeah, there's sperm. There's many sperms in what? There's many different potential, right? There's like what, 1 billion sperm or something like that? What is the technical term for that? Spermoza. Spermazoa.
I see a spermatoza.
Spermatosa.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Spermatosa?
That's a mature sperm.
Is that a mature sperm?
No. Let's go to break.
It's a spermatosa. Okay, anyways, I'm mixing it.
Here we go. Spermatoza.
There's nothing you did or earned while you were a little zygote or a little spermatosa that made you deserve to mate with that ovum, okay? Nothing. You see what I'm saying? That was all God. That was 100% all in, all God. That you were the actual little sperm that got into the ovum, and then that determines your sex, whether you're a boy or girl, from the sperm. So did you know that everybody comes from the sperm? All daughters come from the sperm, all boys come from the sperm. You didn't do something miraculous and special and so worthy to live as a little spermatoza. What is it called? A spermazoa? Spermazoa. I think it's spermazoa. That allowed you to live. That allowed you and gives you a deserving, that you deserve life. Nothing. Okay? So that was all God. Life is given by grace. Life is given because God chose you. Okay, whatever it's called, Tim. Don't frustrate about it. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. But Jesus was frustrated too. All these people just want to touch him, want to get the healing, want to get the benefit, want to get this, want to get that. But he didn't heal everybody. Because that's not the purpose for which he came. He didn't came just to make everybody feel good and give everybody $1 billion and everybody never gets healed and they can live forever on earth. In hedonism and pleasure. Because he knows that if that's given to people, they will become licentious, they'll become Satanists. They're never seeking God anyways until they're debilitatingly ill. And that's what's so frustrating. That's what's so frustrating about, from God's perspective, think about it. And of course, that's why many times I want to flee into the wilderness. I want to flee into the ocean. Because in this position, you get bombarded day in and day out. King, we need this. King, we need this. King, we need this. King, we need you here. King, we need you here. King, we need you here. Please have over there. Please here we get. Please, you know, and it's like, okay, I understand, but you understand, I am Father's representative, but like, I'm also a person. I can't physically do everything. Or be everywhere at the same time. That's why it's important for all people to connect with Father's Holy Spirit, and of course with the Constitution. But of course, I think in general, most sanctuaries, especially the Western ones, I think they have seen so much of that. So I found, at least the Westerners, they're a lot more cognizant of that kind of thing. And they're like, hey, give him his space. Give him his time with his children, you know. They do that a lot more in the West, I think. Hey, you know, don't be so imposing. Give him some time with his kids. Let him spend time with his kids, you know. They're actually understanding of that. Which, of course, you know, in my position, then of course I'm very thankful for. But again, we see that episode of Jesus and this whole ruckus. Wherever he goes, it creates a ruckus. Everybody wants him. Everybody needs him. Everybody wants him. Everybody needs him. Everybody there. Counsel me here. Counsel me there. Give me this. Solve my problem. So, you know, Jesus is like this. And even Jesus, and of course even Father, didn't solve everybody's problems while they were here. In fact, many times they let you have your problems. Because maybe you needed that to recognize how God is working, and God will bring you to a new level of crumbling you down, making you crumble, so that you can reach out for him. You can realize that you're not supposed to be seeking him only when you're crumbling and when things are going bad, but you're supposed to be seeking him at all times. And I get it. None of us are perfect at that. But we're supposed to be trying to be cognizant of him. Good and bad times. When times are good, when times are bad. Praise God. Praise God. Thank you, God. Driving in a car. In a victory. In a loss. God is guiding. God is there. Thank you, God. Beautiful day. Praise God. Thank you, Lord. You know? Cognizant at all times, not just at the bad times. That's a very pitiable way to deal with your Father. And it will be a way, even though he loves you, that will not make him like you. And if he doesn't like you, you're not going to be able to get close. Even though you may be in his house. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? He may love you, but he may not like you. Chew on that for just a little bit. We'll be right back after this short break.
When I'm feeling all alone, it's so far to go.
Oh, 658. $614. 646. Time 471. Hello folks, I'm Justin Moon, the president of Car Firearms Group, and today I've got the PM40 with True Glow night sights, and look at that, Magna porting. Look at that porting on that. This is our standard PM40 with the day sights, but now this model with the Magna porting and the True Glow night sights. What a difference. The 40 caliber PMs have a reputation for being quite a bit of a kicker. They do kick a lot. And so we put the Magna porting on these PM40s, and boy, what a difference does that make. It really makes this PM40 shoot a lot softer, reduces the muzzle flip, the recoil comes straight back into you, and becomes a very manageable pistol.
And we are back. Welcome back to Kingsport, Second King reporting live from the Chanigung Palace. Let's now go to our top news today. One of the top stories on drudgereport.com, reported by the Telegraph, Prince William warns that there are too many people in the world. Look at this inbred, despicable, balding, arrogant super elite. Of course, there's nothing wrong with balding, but there is a problem that these House of Windsor people are inbred. And they're vampiric. And they're descendants from the line of Count Dracul. Get a clip on YouTube of Prince Charles admitting that he is from the line of Vlad the Impaler and Dracul from the BBC interview. With his British accent, it's so small, bro. And there is the pathetic William, false Prince William, talking about again, he's showing his anti-human hating, his human hating nature. Rapidly growing human populations risk having a terrible impact on the world. A terrible impact on the world. I am the Duke of Cambridge. It is from my most exquisite research that I found that human beings are terrible. Give me a break. Okay, go ahead. Show this clip. These people are sick. They're hateful, mongering, anti-human, despicable demons. Go ahead. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness.
I'll be exploring the forests and mountains beyond as we go in search of the European brown bear.
Oh,
Find
yes.
out why this elusive species is so
This
vital to the
elusive
survival of the
species.
environment.
Oh,
On my way, I'll be meeting a dedicated group of
oh, yes. Look at the grassy nose.
who define its importance as one of the great surviving wonders.
Look
of
at
the
those
world.
poppers.
These
Yes,
include a
poppers.
Transylvanian
They
camel.
must grovel on Prince Charles. Oh, look at those poppers. Those
And His Royal
poppers.
Highness Prince Charles.
Oh,
who
Your
can trace his
Highness,
ancestry back
Prince
to Romania's
Charles.
dark and distant past.
Oh, yes.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, yes. My genealogy
As it were.
reveals I'm from Blood the Impaler, as you see. They admit it! They admitted that they are Dracula's children! They admit that they are vampires. Oh my gosh. I mean, you can't make this up. It's so it's so wacky. It's like a big joke. It's like a big satanic joke. Satan is like laughing at us because he puts in the most despicable, twisted, child-eating, blood-drinking vampires to rule over us and rape our children, meanwhile laughing at us because he put the most disgusting, despicable, inbred predators on top, and we're so stupid to not do anything about it. And they admit they're from Dracula. Oh, this is ridiculous. His concerns echoes those of his grandfather, the Duke of Edinburgh. The Duke of Edinburgh, who in 2011 advocated voluntary family limitation. Get the Duke of Edinburgh, that, what is his idiot's name? The Duke of Edinburgh? Philip. Oh no, there's another one. That wrote, if I get reincarnated, I would like to come back as a virus to solve the world's overpopulation problem.
That was Philip, wasn't it?
No, that wasn't Philip. That was some other. That was that other guy with the eyebrows, the devilish eyebrows, and the vampiric eyebrows that are like, you know, growing off and have different minds of their own. They have like tentacles. Yeah. What's that dude's name? Yeah, that guy. What's that dude's name? Oh, was he Philip? He was Philip. Oh, this one was Charles. This is Charles. I'm sorry. This one is Charles. Here's Philip. Go ahead.
Stabilize the population. When I was born, there
So
were
what's
two-
wrong with the population?
No, go back. Go back a little bit to the Duke of go to that guy. There we go.
What do you see as the biggest challenges in conservation?
The growing human population. Because if where we are, there's nothing else.
Oh yeah.
Do you have views about what should be done about that?
Can't you guess?
We've got
Oh, can't you guess? Oh, can't you guess? My bushy eyebrows, my inbred eyebrows. Oh, can't you guess? We just have to destroy human life. Just to sterilize the population. Yes. We're so loving. We're so caring. We look at this. Here's the list of endangered species that they're worried about. The 10 most endangered species: the Amur leopard, black rhino, cross river gorilla, hawksbill turtle, the Javan rhino, leatherback turtle, mountain gorilla, pangolin, saola, and South China tiger. Okay, so that's why millions of black Africans have to die because of the leatherback turtle. Okay? Millions of poor Southeast Asians, brown-skinned Asians, have to die and be sterilized and be hit with Gardasil shots which ravage women's wombs so that we can save the hawksbill turtle. There you go. That's how compassionate they are, Tim. They'd like to depopulate, they'd like to commit genocide on Africa and kill millions of black people because they're so loving to the pangolin. Oh yes, and they go to the little galas and little parties with little champagne. And, they talk to one another and giggle and yes, the pangolin. Oh my God, what a terrible waste. Yes, the saola. Yes, we must preserve the hawksbill turtle. Yeah, there's another one. The virus. There's the virus. Wannabe virus, Princefield. Go ahead, put that picture up. There's the virus. There they are the virus. You don't have to wait for reincarnation, bozo. You already a virus, fool. You already an anti-human cultist virus vampire. You already a virus. You don't gotta wait to be reincarnated. You're not gonna be reincarnated. You're gonna be in a pit of hell. Thank goodness there's no reincarnation, so these bozos can't come back as viruses, which they dream of. Oh yes, it gets me just all uppity at night, dreaming to come back as a virus to murder black people and kill Southeast Asians. Yes, I love it, I love it, I love it. Because I want to pretend that I want to save the leatherback turtle and the Cross River gorilla. Oh my goodness, give me a freaking break. This is ridiculous. And there you go, there's the World Wildlife Fund. Look at them with their little cute little panda logo. Oh, it's so cute, the panda logo of the World Wildlife Fund, which is run by the super elites and the human depopulation supporters and the human depopulation haters and the black African haters. The racist colonialists who run the World Wildlife Fund. Don't donate to the World Wildlife Fund. They don't give a crock about human life. They think a freaking saola, pangolin, and a hawksbill turtle is more important than African children. Oh, they're so compassionate. Look at them. Look at them in their little parties. Yes, commiserating with the others. Oh, yes, let's tell each other we're so compassionate. We want to save the turtles of leatherback turtle. Meanwhile, what is the cost of doing that? Well, just kill 100 million Africans, that's all. Just kill 100 million Chinese. Because the Chinese are already implementing what they call a voluntary population control system. You have to voluntarily have one child, because if you don't have one child, you'll be taxed out of the wazoo. You'll be punished. But of course, that's voluntary.
I think China's increased it to 2 now.
You can have another child, but you will be punished. All your loans or insurance or everything will be taken away. But of course, it's voluntary. You see that? So there they are again. His grandson, royal patron of Tusk Trust, told the charity's gala dinner in London that measures need to be taken to save certain animal populations. Of course, kill off human populations to save those animal populations. Don't pay attention to any of the statistics that show that when human populations can actually own animal populations, those animal populations grow. Don't pay attention to those, CC. When, was it Nigeria? One of the African countries gave their citizens the right to own elephants, African elephants, which are also endangered. And because they gave the right of the citizens to own elephant, Kenya? Yeah. To own elephants, the African elephant population in Kenya exploded. It went up like 33%, or like, what was it? What's the increase?
I'm bringing it up right now.
Anyways, massive increase. The endangered species elephant, when people owned it, did not go away. It increased. Why? Because people, since they own it, that becomes their asset. They want to preserve that asset. They don't want to throw it away. They're going to protect it from poachers. They're going to help it multiply so that they can increase the product, the value of their asset. Whereas in Nigeria, I believe it was Nigeria, they made it legal, and the federal government was responsible for protecting the African elephant. And what happened? Depopulation. The African elephant started disappearing. Why? Because the federal government could not steal enough money from the people to protect this African elephant, meanwhile running all the other things and programs that it's doing, and protect each one of these elephants that are running around.
I'll tell you, it's South Africa where we see the ownership increased the wildlife population and then in Kenya is actually where hunting was banned, and as a result of hunting being banned, wildlife population decreased.
Decrease. Okay, so I'm sorry. So Kenya was the one that depopulated their
Yes.
African elephant.
The elephant's population dropped 76% since the 1960s.
76% because people were not able to own them. Right. You see that? Who is the greatest preserver of animal life? And especially endangered species life? Not these stupid super elites. It is the normal African man who is in the same region as those animals. And if they're able to own them and make a living off of them, whether they sell the meat or whether they do this or that or make whatever they do it, or hunting farms, whatever it is, when they're able to own it and exercise proper dominion over the world as children of God, then the African population grows. Whoa. You don't think these super elites know that? Of course they know it. But they want to morally posture pretending like they're saving the Africa elephant when their real goal is to kill you. Because you are not in their club. We'll be right back after the short break. Chew on that.
Sometimes abstinence education gets a stereotype for being weak or unrealistic, but urban life training is absolutely very real and upfront with detailed statistics, real-life examples about the detrimental psychological and physical effects of premarital sex. And that's something that I feel is not discussed enough in other educational arenas, and I highly recommend taking urban life training.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica Smith, former star guide with Ultra Teen Choice, now Urban Life Training, and I greatly benefited from being part of the organization. Not only did the free sessions educate me about the consequences of having premarital sex, such as STDs and unwanted pregnancy, but it also gave me the platform to be a role model for my peers and actually mentor youth in the Washington, D.C. community. And that was an awesome experience for me. So I really encourage you to attend the upcoming Urban Life Training this fall.
I'm Jasmine, 17, and I live in Southeast Washington, D.C. I think everybody should really come to the Ultra Teen Choice meetings. They're really informative. You should come. And if you're interested in learning more about like stuff you didn't know was in the Bible, like stuff you just didn't learn, or if you really, really, really are serious about being abstinent, I really think you should be here. Like everybody should come. Keep telling all my friends, all the people I see at school, you know, but I think that everybody should just join the group so that we could grow in Christ and become part of the true family.
I believe that the information that they have is really life-changing and, practical. And so what he's sharing with you is real life, thing that is happening right now, in our world as it pertains to marriage and living a sexually pure life and, making the right choice, whether you are a teenager, an adolescent, a young adult, whether you are single or you're married, you're looking to be married. Those are some things that I believe this training will bring to light to you. And so I encourage you to, seek him out and seek the program out, and I'm pretty sure that your life won't be the same.
Hi. This is Richard Urban, co-founder of Urban Life Training. This conference provides a practical and scriptural framework for the teaching of sexual abstinence in preparation for marriage. This is arguably the most important topic in today's world. So we hope that you'll come out and take advantage of these great resources that will help you and also the youth and young adults be leaders in this topic in your community. We look forward to seeing you November 24th through 26th, and register now to receive early bird discounts. We'll see you then.
Sometimes abstinence education gets a stereotype for being weak or unrealistic, but urban life training is absolutely very real and upfront with detailed statistics, real-life examples about the detrimental psychological and physical effects of premarital sex. And that's something that I feel is not discussed enough in other educational arenas, and I highly recommend taking urban life training.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica Smith, former star guide with Ultra Teen Choice, now Urban Life Training, and I greatly benefited from being part of the organization. Not only did the free sessions educate me about the consequences of having premarital sex, such as STDs and unwanted pregnancy, but it also gave me the platform to be a role model for my peers and actually mentor youth in the Washington, D.C. community. And that was an awesome experience for me. So I really encourage you to attend the upcoming Urban Life Training this fall.
I'm Jasmine, 17, and I live in Southeast Washington, D.C. I think everybody should really come to the Ultra Teen Choice meetings. They're really informative. You should come. And if you're interested in learning more about like stuff you didn't know was in the Bible, like stuff you just didn't learn, or if you really, really, really are serious about being abstinent, I really think you should be here. Like everybody should come. Keep telling all my friends, all the people I see at school, but I think that everybody should just join the group so that we could grow in Christ and become part of the true family.
I believe that the information that they have is really life-changing and, practical. And so what he's sharing with you is real life, thing that is happening right now, in our world as it pertains to marriage and living a sexually pure life and, making the right choice, whether you are a teenager, an adolescent, a young adult, whether you are single or you're married, you're looking to be married. Those are some things that I believe this training will bring to light to you. And so I encourage you to, seek him out and seek the program out. And I'm pretty sure that your life won't be the same.
Hi, this is Richard Urban, co-founder of Urban Life Training. This conference provides a practical and scriptural framework for the teaching of sexual abstinence in preparation for marriage. This is arguably the most important topic in today's world. So we hope that you'll come out and take advantage of these great resources that will help you and also the youth and young adults, be leaders in this topic in your community. We look forward to seeing you November 24th through 26th, and register now to receive early bird discounts. We'll see you then.
And fire fall, come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar, and fire fall, come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar, and fire fall, come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Our God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. Give me your heart, give me your song, sing it with all your might. Come to the fountain and you can be satisfied. There is a peace, there is a love, you can get lost inside. Come to the fountain.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. This morning, Friday, November 3rd, 2017. I am your host, Hyung Sean Moon, the second king of China, getting back to the 10 most endangered animal species according to Prince William's the inbred. What's his name? Is this William? Duke of Cambridge. Okay, yeah, William giving a "Let's kill African people" speech. Look at this. This whole endangered species and their little stupid wildlife fund, it's all about just continuing British colonialism over Africa. That's all it is. It's continuing to use British hegemony to regulate African people and to tell them that their most pressing problems is the leatherback turtle and not that their children are dying of poverty that is induced upon them by corrupt bureaucrats that are supported by the Crown of Britain. You see that? Give me a break. It is barbaric. It destroys livelihoods and communities. And it supports organized crime. Yes, of course, it doesn't, they don't mention the organized crime syndicate that is the British royal family. Or the House of Windsor. They don't mention that. They don't mention that it's barbaric to want to kill hundreds of millions of African black people and to want to genocide populations and want to do forced abortions on children. On parents that give birth to children, babies. That is barbaric. What's barbaric is that their genealogy and their satanic rituals are comprised of drinking children's blood. And again, even on churchword.com, there's another article here. Where is it? Did I pull that up? On Drudge. I don't think I pulled it up. Another British government, British official is caught for more sex scandals. Where is that? Just saw that. British, where is that? Anyway, I just saw it. But this is another British official that is being caught. Oh, I'm sorry, that was at InfoWars. Let me see, at InfoWars. That is caught again in other sex scandals. Here we go, right here. UK Defense Secretary resigns as sex scandals rock Parliament. Toppling European elites. There it is. And of course, you're talking about the Jimmy Savile case, which is the raping of all these young children, running orphanages to peddle and traffic sex children. Sex trafficked children, right? And then you have, Prime Minister Heath, who just died. And now police reports confirming that he was a necrophile, killing children and raping their dead bodies. And then you have BBC interviews of little girls who were actually forced by their grandmas to be in these sex cults, and she puts on film that she was not only doing satanic rituals, she was not only being raped by 11 men at these quote parties at 6 years old, getting pregnant 6 times by the time she was 11. And then they would do another ritual to kill the baby abort the baby, kill it, and then make her cut it up like a little steak and eat the fetus that she just bore. And from whom she doesn't know which father that is from, because she said she had to be forced by her grandma into these sex parties where 11 plus men, elites with masks on to cover their identities, are raping her. This is what the British monarchy is doing. Do you understand? This is what they're doing. Oh boy, sometimes people just get so myopic. There's these kind of demons in the world, and they just want the second king's attention. They just want me to acknowledge them. They just want me to give them more love. They have no concern of what is truly grieving God's heart. No concern of what's grieving my heart. It's just, love me, give me attention, give me attention, give me, look at me, look at me. It's like, child, go out and fight the damn demons. I mean, look at this. Look at them. And then they're out there parading around in their little galas, saying the panda, what is it, the pangolin and the saola is the great danger that Africa faces, that they may lose the saola or the pangolin, whatever the heck that is, or the hawksbick and leatherback turtle. That's the most dangerous thing. The most dangerous thing is not the corrupt governments which they support, that rule over the people as slaves. No. That's not the problem. The problem is not the governments that support Sharia law and kill and murder Christians. No, that's not the problem. The problem is the Javan rhino and the leatherback turtle and the pangolin. That's the biggest problem facing Africa today, Tim.
I see.
Not poverty that is induced upon them by their corrupt Sharia law governments, many of them. Christian murdering, by the way, at the same time. It's not the centralized police force, which are basically running as a mafia group for the political establishment. No, none of that is a problem, you see, because all of them pay obeisance to the British crown. None of that is a problem. You know what the biggest problem that faces Africa today? And look at the, ooh, little tusk. Oh, they're so loving. They love the African elephant and the rhino and the leopard. They just want to kill you. See that you the African that's standing there. See that they want to kill you. they love these, but they want to kill you. No, this is all a big joke. This is all pretend. They don't want to take care of Africans. They want Africans to continue to live and die. They openly want to depopulate Africans and Southeast Asians. Openly. These are the kind of insane, inbred demons that are ruling this world. You know, and I love our sanctuary brothers and sisters, of course, even though they're wacky. But sometimes you all act like children, man. Trying to get my attention. Look, I love y'all. But you gotta fight my fight with me. Fight these fools. Call them out. Raise your voice against these fools. Start your own King's Report branch. Focus your attention on these bastards. Wake people up. Stop trying to say, King, 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 look at me, give me attention, look at me, look at me, look at me. Stop it. You're acting like a little baby. Golly. Sometimes y'all act like children. Damn. Why don't you get involved in the fight of your daddy? It's like children who are, their dad is out there fighting, right? And this is, of course, one of the sins of the true children. You have true father out there fighting Satanism all over the world. Okay? Communism, you name it, in any political form. He's out there literally fighting it, right? And then the children are saying, Daddy, why don't you love me? Daddy, why aren't you at my soccer game? Daddy, why aren't you? Okay, he loves you. He does love you, all right. And he can't be at every soccer game. Okay, fine. You're not going to die. You're not going to die. Why don't you help him fight the political Satanists? They are the real Satanist kingdoms. They are the real Satanist kingdoms. Stop living in La La Land and wishful fantasy land. Fight the damn Satanists! You can form your own groups. You can do all that. But focus your damn groups not on stupid internal politics. Focus them on the damn Satanists. Then you'll be participating in providence.
How'd you?
Go after these, look at these inbred Count Dracula descendants that rule over poor UK people. Call them out. Oh, boy. Sometimes these people drive me crazy. That's why God gave me that scripture today. Everybody chasing Jesus around. Because I am Christ's second, the second coming of Christ, inheritor and successor. Okay, I get it. And that's why everybody wants my attention. I got it. But I'm also just one person. So be an adult and do your job and help fight the political Satanists. Don't waste your energy other way places. Fight the dang fight. Fight the enemy, which is right in front of you there. Your enemy is not one another. You're all imperfect bums in your own ways. Even though, of course, you stood up for Father. In the eyes of God, we're all bums. But he'll use some bums to get his work done. Look at these people that want to genocide African people. Look at these people that want to genocide poor Southeast Asians. You don't think that's a problem? You think it's more fun to try to get my attention? Hey, if you fight them and you become successful fighting them, I'll give you tons of attention. How's that?
It's a deal.
But go out and do something. Stop shouting. Give me attention, King Daddy. Please give me attention, King Daddy. Go out and do something. Hey, how's that? If you go out and do something, and you do a wonderful job attacking these globalists and these centralists, and you do a great job, I'll give you tons of attention. How's that? I'll stroke your ego, say how wonderful you're doing. I'll promote your work. I'll bring you in front of crowds and say, look how wonderful this person. How's that, huh? Oh my goodness. Y'all drive me crazy sometimes. Focus, focus, focus. Why the hell do you think I'm ranting and raving every damn day? Do you think it's for your own entertainment? So you can be entertained? Like a spoiled brat child that's seeing his daddy fighting against something and saying, oh yeah, that was fun to watch. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go play my computer game. Daddy, give me some attention. Get the hell out there and fight with him. Stop bitching and complaining about your brothers and sisters and bitch and complain about these bastards. Then I'll give you some more attention. How's that? Isn't that right? Any father would do that, right?
Yes. Go out and do something.
Go out and do something. Stop sitting at home pretending you're doing the work. Pretending you're building the kingdom when all you're doing is spending time attacking your other brothers and sisters. Get the hell out and do something. Go fight these bastards. Become successful fighting them. Connect with people who are out there fighting them. And then I'll give you some attention. Stop living in your egoistic la la land where you're always right and everybody's wrong. Stop being a baby, a child. Stop acting puerile and infantile. Go out and do it. Fight these bastards. Boy, it would be such an amazing thing if all the sanctuarians would actually come into this fight against political Satanism and actually do this fight. It would be great. That's probably the reason why Father made you all, made all of you go out for politics, made you go out and do these kind of things, even though you bitched and complained about it, and even though you hated him for doing it. He was trying to prepare you to get out there and change the damn world. I mean, of course, not that you're going to do it on your own merit or strength, but with his blessing and the Holy Spirit. Look at this. Africa's rapidly growing human population is predicted to more than double by 2050, a staggering increase of 3.5 million people per month. There is no question that this increase put wildlife and habitat under enormous pressure. They want to kill off humanity so that their wildlife can have a habitat, even though it's proven that when humans own wildlife, they create the best habitat for them to flourish and reproduce. And these people know that. They're just using the Wildlife Fund with a stupid panda logo. World Wildlife Fund, go ahead, pull up that logo. With a stupid panda logo to trick you into believing they're doing it for the panda, when they're doing it to kill and control and continue the colonization of poor African black people. That would be a problem. That would be definitely a Satanist organization. Hey, why don't you create an organization that is going after the World Wildlife Fund and exposes it? Or just a YouTube channel, if that's your passion. Go after these demon Bilderberg group, Davos group, super elite, pangolin promoting saulas, and do something. All of y'all stop bitching about how this or that person is not imperfect. You're not perfect. You also are acting like bozos. I'm not done with both you groups. And maybe that's how siblings love each other, by bitching and complaining about each other. Well, if it is, you're wasting tons of energy. And you know your daddy's going to reprimand you at some point. Focus, 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 children. And it's not all of you are like acting like babies. Some of you are very mature. But some of you are acting like babies. Focus, focus, focus. The real Satanists, the real pedophiles, the real political Satanists, the real kingpins, the real Bilderberg group, the real Davos group, the real George Soros, the real Antifas, the real BLMs, the real terrorist organization, Sharia law, they actually exist. You see, in this world, it's not a video game. See, they actually exist. And they need to be fought. Stop living in your own little internet ghetto. Get out of the house and see the actual world. And the Satanists that are there, and fight them. Of course, with information and by raising your voice against them. That's how you can help bring down Satan's societies. That's how you can help bring down Satan's kingdoms. That's how you can help getting people politically active and awake. That's how you can help then taking that stepping stone to then running for political office. You see, you can do something. You can go and become the commissioner. You can go and become the county chair. You can go and become the general, what is it, supervisor of your township. Township supervisor, that's what it is. Go get those positions. Raise awareness of these basket cases that are running around, these political Satanists. That's how the microcosm influences the macrocosm. By directly getting involved in the macrocosm. That's how you shape the macrocosm from the micro. Jesus got directly involved in the macro. And that's how he eventually brought down the Roman Empire. His disciples got directly involved in the macro, going into Rome, into the cities, into the places to preach the gospel. They didn't just bicker amongst themselves. You see? Do you see? Go out and fight the enemy. And it's not even like fighting is even that hard. All you have to do is just raise awareness to them. In the network of people that God has blessed you with. It could be something as easy as just writing a blog or starting a YouTube channel and just talking into a $50 Walmart camera. And then slowly you build a network of people that start listening to you and say, hey, I agree with that. And then you can wake them up. You can wake them up to political Satanism. You can wake them up to divine principle. You can wake them up to the blessing. You name it. But if you just sit at home, complain about woe is me because, oh, this or that person is this or that in sanctuary. This other sanctuary is like this or that. You are acting like a child. And I'm not saying there's not genuine frustration or genuine disagreement between brothers and sisters, but what about your family? Every family has that. Get used to it. That's how it is in any family. But if you want to claim that you want to do the will of the Father, then do it. Go out and fight what Father has been fighting. The political Satanists, the commies, the socialists, the super class that sits and rules as Satanists over the world. They actually rule the satanic kingdoms, you see. They actually rule them. And of course, we don't want people to just do it in a way, in a fashion that they'll get killed by SWAT teams. It could be as easy just sharing your view on YouTube. Then you're starting to make a difference. It's like the Liberty Movement. It doesn't do any benefit of Project Veritas or Stefan Molyneux going after InfoWars and the reporters on InfoWars. Doesn't do any good for them, the whole Liberty Movement. Milo Yiannopoulos is not the same organization as InfoWars or Breitbart, but they work together because they all have the same enemy to fight against political Satanism. Do you see? When you fight an enemy, you have to stand together, even though you don't like each other. Even though you may disagree on other points. You have to engage the enemy. It's not even that hard of a concept. It's just that people are so beholden. People are so craving of attention. So thirsty to want to demand attention. When you'll get the attention if you do the fight. If you go out and do something. You'll get the attention naturally instead of trying to force people to recognize you. I mean, look how ridiculous these people are. They need to be called out by every single person on this globe. And of course, we are the microcosm. We are the start of that. Crazy, crazy news. Already we are moving with no time. Time goes so quick here. Trump departing on a 10-day Asia trip again. Look, again. Look, see, the world keeps moving. It's very important to be aware of all these things that are happening and then be involved in them. It's interesting, isn't it ironic? The more insular we become, the more we only think about our communities, the more detached we become from the world. But the more we all look outside, understand what's going on, get involved with what's going on, do things like go volunteer for Trump campaigns, go volunteer for your local commissioner's positions, go volunteer for your supervisor's position, go sit on public council meetings. You know, this is how you start affecting real world change instead of just talking about it. This is what some of our members on the community are starting to do. And they will get more attention from their king because they're doing that. You won't get attention from me just because you bitch and complain and you complain about other people. Because they're your brothers and sisters who stood up for Father's authority. Go out and do something. Become the commissioner. Then you'll get tons of attention. Go accomplish something for the kingdom. Impress your father. Make him proud. Yes, and when you are successful, that makes Father proud. Don't you know that? Of course he wants you to have a stable marriage and honor his absolute sex marriage and his blessing. Of course, all that is necessary. But on top of that, that's not only your full potential. On top of that, he's given you other gifts, and when you actualize them, he's proud of that. That's why did he push me so hard to go to Harvard, even though I hated it and didn't want to go to it? Do you think he did that because of a senile lapse? Do you think he pushed to get accolades out of his children and recognition and have them successful so that he could, because he was some kind of sadomasochist? Of course he wants us to have stable marriages, strong marriages, and raise good children, all that stuff. But he wants us to do more than that too. Don't you know, Father? If you don't understand that, you don't know Father. I mean, even though most of you have not really spent actual personal one-on-one time with Father ever. Ever. So I understand how much you crave that, how much you need it. But again, Father was one man, one person. Even though he was Christ, just like Jesus, one person. He has a physical body. So those who did his will, even though they were not perfect, and even though you all hated them, and some of them I didn't like either, but Father would bring them close because they are focusing on what he wants to be done. You see that? Not my will, but thine will. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. That's, of course, a blessing and a curse. We have very passionate people in Sanctuary. But if that passion is just based on unreality and does not include the context of the actual satanic kingdoms we live in, then you are running around in circles. Stand up against the Satanists. Stand up for the sovereignty folks. Hey, why don't you volunteer if you're a designer or whatever, you got skills or whatever, you know. You got some artistic, hey, why don't you volunteer to help Breitbart, InfoWars, or whatever? Why don't you help different organizations that are every day being showcased on the King's Report? Different peoples that we are trying to introduce to the whole liberty, not only liberty movement, but all to our sanctuary people as well. These are all different people. Whatever God compels you in your heart to help them. Or if you don't want to do that, then you can start your own YouTube channel. You can start your own voice to politically focus and tear down Satan's walls, Satan's kingdoms. That, in the end, is applied theology. It's not only arguing about theology. It's not only theological matters. It is applied theology in the world. Applying our understanding of God and our understanding of theology and our understanding of lineage and our understanding of authority and our understanding of sovereignty, all that, and applying it into the world. Apply theology. Apply the blessings God has given you through divine principle and the OSDP to the world. Or even just your local area. And starting to take over the local councils. And the local areas, you know, supervisors. To becoming an upstanding citizen so that you can spread the gospel. You can teach about DP in different ways. You can gain clout and position in the communities that you abide in. Not be seen as some isolationist hermit that's becoming like weaponized. But that you're involved, you're a supervisor, you're in the township meetings, whatever. Get involved. The Unification Church, Father, has never been just a religion of isolationist little hermit theology. He's always been involved in the world. He's always been seeking to get rid of Satan's political power and replace that with Godism. We are not just an insular, little idealistic, utopian community. Everybody knows that. And we don't pretend to be. We allow people to transparently express their views. We allow them to have different organizations. But at the same time, we can get hyped up and we can get into this whole Pepsi versus Coca-Cola. We can get into this whole Redskins versus Broncos and not focus on the real enemy, which is ruling the world. Very, very disappointing, very, very childish, very, very puerile. Stop using the excuse of pretending that you're doing something by bitching about other sanctuary people. You're not doing crap. You're making an excuse for not becoming the commissioner. You're making an excuse for not becoming the supervisor of your town. You're making an excuse for not making Chinese culture real for everybody in the place that you live. All you're doing, and everybody knows it. It's just you are trying to pretend that you're not doing it, but everybody else knows you're doing it. If you're so passionate about the work of God, if you're so passionate about this, about true Father's will, if you're so passionate about the kingdom that is coming, if you're so passionate about Chinese Constitution, go out and take over the local area legally by running for office and start implementing parts of it slowly and help everybody in your community experience Chinese Guk. Instead of trying to create some little separate isolationist utopia, which will never work. Involve yourself with the Christians. Reach out and involve yourselves with the other communities that are there. Get out. Look at our sanctuaries and our different communities in Asia. They're going out. Whenever Trump comes, they're all coming to visit him. They're all going to support Abe. They're getting out. Out of the house. Out of the theological bubble. Outside of the theological discourse. And they're doing applied theology. They're actually fighting for the kingdom in Japan. They're actually fighting for the kingdom in South Korea. Right? Moses, when Lot's wife looked back, she turned a salt pillar. Stop looking back. Look forward. Don't become a pillar of salt. Become salt and light for the world. Not a pillar of salt, but salt and light for the world. Not a pillar of salt that was just going to collapse, but salt and light for the world. Focus, 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 focus. This is very common, even in families. You know, every family experiences it. One child thinks the biggest issue in the world is the other child. I'm serious. Every parent has experienced this. The biggest problem in the world is my elder brother. The biggest problem in the world is my younger sister. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. But in reality, the parent knows that's not the case. Honey, that's not the case. It's not the biggest problem. There's way larger problems. So you need now to get out the house. You need to start, finding a career. And you need to start, going out, and if you do the will of your Father, he's going to be happier, and he's going to feel like you're kindred spirits, and you're working in the same side, and you're working on the same project, and you're working on the same mission, and your daddy's going to feel compelled, and he's going to feel closer, a kindred spirit. He's going to feel closer to you. Maybe if your dad is in manufacturing, well, if you're in manufacturing, and you start succeeding, hey, your dad's going to be very proud of you. Wow, that's amazing. That's great. And you can be so much closer to him because you share his mission. Share his mission. That's how you get attention. Not by thinking that your sibling is your worst problem in the world. Everybody's seen their children do that if you have children. But you all know that's crazy when it happens in your family. You know it's not the case. You know that's immaturity. But the church family or the spiritual family is the same way. It's like a big family. So from my perspective, as the father's perspective, this is for father's representative, when I see it, and I see one child talking about another child, both of you are individual, truth bodies, both of you love your daddy, but both of you feel that this is the biggest problem in the world when it's not. And what would be great and bring your daddy joy in that position, in that situation, is not trying to hyper-focus and say, try to convince your daddy that your sibling is your biggest problem, when it's obviously not, compared to the larger context of the world. And the micro influences the macro, especially when the micro is fighting for the macro. Not fighting in the macro, fighting for the macro. Is when you actually start shaping the macro with more multiplied force and more multiplied power. Spiritual, that is. And that can in fact change to help everybody on the macro receive and get closer to the kingdom. Chew on these things. Pray about these things. There's so much going on and so much to be involved in. Remember the context and focus. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us.
My Savior, Redeemer, lifted me from
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this Friday, November 3rd, 2017. Second King Report live from the Chenyung Palace. Let's now get to our headline news before our guest comes on for the third hour. Let's cover our headline news so we know what's going on, at least in general summation for today. Go ahead, Tim.
President Trump is leaving Washington today. He'll be going to Hawaii, and then from there he'll be going on to Japan, arriving in Japan on Sunday. And he'll be in Japan from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. He'll go to Korea, and then from there he'll go to China, and then from there I believe he's going to Vietnam to participate in a summit conference of the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Organization. So this is, and meanwhile, reports from South Korea say that. North Korea looks like they're preparing for a missile launch during Trump's visit, perhaps, or in the next few days anyway, because of the reports are that there's an increased activity around the missile launch sites in North Korea. So this is going to be a kind of a tense time, maybe, as it goes there.
Well, what about those other reports, even on Drudge Report, talking about North Korea right now, defector warning of nuclear pressing button of nuclear bombs. That's connected to his Asia.
Yes, well,
trip.
Defectors come and they are debriefed, and after several months they get to speak out in public, and so that's what's happening here too. So they're not really giving up-to-date information. They're just giving overall sort of impressions of what they're allowed to say actually by the South Korean intelligence services at a particular time. But yeah, I mean, we've known for decades that Kim Jong-un could start a war at any time just by pressing a button. I don't consider that to be anything new. But yeah, it is certainly something to keep in mind as President Trump is in the area that North Korea could start a war at any moment, even while he's there. And if they fire a missile during his trip there, the U.S. may feel that it needs to shoot down that missile, and that could start something. And so that's why I say it's very tense time during the next 10 days or so, especially the time.
Look at CNN Politics reporting, U.S. military, North Korea accuses U.S. of nuclear strike drill after bomber flights.
Yeah. Well, the U.S. Bomber flights are intended to warn North Korea that they shouldn't try anything during President Trump's visit to that area, to that region of the world. Meanwhile, a Twitter employee last night deactivated President Trump's account.
Wow.
It was offline for 11 minutes.
Isn't that incredible?
And so initially Twitter said that this was an accident, but apparently not. Apparently this employee was on his last day at the job, and he was a disgruntled employee, and so as he was leaving his job, he took down the president's Twitter account.
Oh my gosh.
One article points out that this points to some very dangerous things, because if the man could, or if the person, I don't know if a man or woman, if the person could take it down, what else could that employee possibly have done? For example, could he have sent out a tweet in the president's name? For example, something about North Korea that would instigate North Korea to do something stupid, start a war, for example? Or could he have completely deleted the president's account? It was apparently just suspended for 11 minutes. So it brings into question the security of the president's Twitter account and how much Twitter is doing to secure his account and others' accounts like it. So there's actually some wider implications from that 11-minute suspension of the president's account. Ivanka is in Japan. All-female police squad is protecting her. Thousands lining up for iPhone 10 around the world. Thieves steal $300,000 worth from a truck in San Francisco. And so Apple tops $900 billion in market capitalization and projects a record holiday revenue. I think yesterday or the day before, we had a article that people in general are feeling very good about this coming holiday season, and it looks like for retailers it's going to be a good season.
Well, not in Madagascar. There's a deadly airborne plague.
Yes.
Reaching crisis point now.
Yes, we've been covering that since Wednesday.
Worse than 50 years.
Right. Usually they have about 600 cases in Madagascar annually, but this year it's different. And,
well, look at this. The cases are rocketing by almost 40% in just 5 days.
And I think the airline has suspended its operation in Madagascar. That was an article that we covered on Wednesday. But yeah, it has already spread to other countries in the African region. And it says particularly virulent form of plague because there are 3 kinds of plague, and this is the airborne kind.
Right,
this is the pneumatic plague, worst in 50 years. So whatever happened 50 years ago is happening again now, and so we're continuing to watch that. And the projected number is 23,000 by next month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, so what are some of our other headlines here?
And President Trump nominated a new chairman to head the Federal Reserve Board when the current chairman, Janet Yellen, term expires on the 1st of February. This man is Jerome Powell, and he needs to be confirmed by the Senate, and so the Senate will have the last word on whether he will actually become the next Fed chairman in February. And he's on the he's one of the he's on the board of governors now. He's one of the governors of the Federal Reserve Board. He was appointed by Barack Obama in 2012, although he is a Republican, but he is an establishment Republican, and he's expected to continue the current policy of Janet Yellen to gradually increase interest rates, short-term interest rates, by a 1/4 percentage point at a time. And probably Janet Yellen and her final act will increase that interest rate next month by another 1/4 percentage point. The difference of this man is that he believes that banking regulations should be relaxed. Now, Bill Gross, who's sometimes referred to as the Bond King, has put out a comment that this is not the best man for the job. That he is intellectually not up to the job and doesn't really understand, in Bill Gross's words, credit creation and credit destruction and things like this. And so he is concerned about this person's qualifications for the job.
And it was Obama. It was an Obama appointee.
He was Obama appointee, even though he's a Republican. He isn't.
That's a flag right there. But look at this. In other news, look at this. Inside Hillary Clinton's secret takeover of the DNC, yes, written by Donna Brazile.
Yes.
She's now throwing Clinton under the bus. She's now exposing the fact that that Clinton stole it from Bernie. She's admitting it.
Yes.
She's admitting that Clinton did an illegal, and the DNC was colluding with her to do an illegal activity or an action of taking a duly elected or totally going against the popular vote and choosing Hillary Clinton. This shows that how corrupt the DNC was. Of course, Donna Brazile was part of that. What position was she at? She was a huge position there.
She was
a campaign director or something. No, I'm sorry, that was Podesta. But Donna Brazile was very big. Look at how she starts the article. Before I called Bernie Sanders, I lit a candle in my living room and put on some gospel music. I wanted to center myself for what I knew would be an emotional phone call. Oh, okay, Donna Brazile. Meanwhile, you were railing against anybody who said anything against the DNC, railing against anybody who claimed that Clinton was doing exactly what you're claiming she's doing right now. You would destroy them politically. And then, of course, she was giving the talking points to Hillary Clinton, giving them to CNN, they were completely colluding with the media. I mean, these people are complete criminals, and now they're throwing each other on the bus because it's like rats fleeing a sinking ship. The sinking ship is going down, and the rats are all fleeing. I promised Bernie when I took the helm of the DNC after the convention, I would get to the bottom of whether Hillary Clinton's team had rigged the nomination process, as the cache of emails stolen by Russian hackers and posted online had suggested. I'd had my suspicions from the moment I walked in the door of the DNC a month or so earlier based on the leaked emails, but who knew if some of them might have been forged? I needed solid proof, and so did Bernie. Okay, so there she goes. So she followed them, yes, she's so honest. She's so honest, of course. Now she's literally going after everybody. She's going after Debbie Wasserman-Schultz, saying that she's not a good manager. She's going after Clinton, saying that she colluded with the media. I mean, she's just going after everybody because she's also complicit. She was the one who was helping them do all these things. She is trying to pretend she wasn't a criminal when she is a criminal, and she knows that they will probably be prosecuted. They will at the very least lose power in the DNC because it's really a dead party now. And it's just completely a suicide cult. Look at them just killing one another. Look at them just going after one another. Rats fleeing a sinking ship. Dawn in Brazil exposes her true colors and how she was a colluder, how she was conspiring with Hillary Clinton. But now that everything's coming out and now more is coming out, now she is throwing Hillary under the bus. This is exactly the den of thieves. There's no honor in the den of thieves. You collude to get power temporarily. There's no honor for you. Nobody is loyal to one another. And of course, they end up destroying one another. Wow, so that's huge, huge, huge. John in Brazil coming out and now attacking Hillary Clinton, even though she helped her do exactly what she's attacking her for. Isn't that hilarious? And these people are just so ridiculous. Go ahead, Tim.
Okay,
back to top news.
Okay, in other news, Clinton is defending the Russia dossier. Manafort attacks the indictment and Judge Mull's gag order. This is the, how can Clinton be defending the dossier? That's an incredible thing. And let's see, the NFL Monday Night Football is down again. They're really sinking fast.
Praise God.
Sinking fast, sinking fast.
Did you see this article on Japan? Japan rolls out sleek all-female police squad to protect Ivanka.
Yes, yes, yes.
Look at this picture of them training. They're stopping a fan in the training camp, a quote fan, holding a present that she wants to give to Ivanka. Of course, this is just training, a simulation. But they're practicing different ways to stop her. Ahead of Ivanka Trump's visit to Japan. Very interesting. Kevin Spacey, look at this. Man comes forward to describe an alleged extended sexual relationship he had at 14 years old with Kevin Spacey. Look at that. Yeah. Extended sexual relationship.
Yeah, wow. When that thing first came out, I thought, you know, when these things first come out, the PR representative says, "Oh, okay, you got to get ahead of the curve. So apologize for the small things so that you can hide the big thing."
Exactly.
But
exactly.
That strategy has failed now. Now the big thing is coming out. You have an extended relationship.
That's right. And it's just beginning, just the tip of the iceberg. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us, folks.
Research and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Carr Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit carr.com today.
Hi guys, I'm down here at the range today. I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead of using the blade of the front sight lined up with the top of the rear sight, I'm going to take the dot of the front sight and raise it up so that it's out of the notch, but I'm still going to keep the front sight on my target. Bringing that front sight up like that is going to compensate for the bullet drop over that excessively long distance with just this little gun. So if applied right, we should be making contact. Let's see how it goes. I saw this shot, so I'm a little bit out of breath because you gotta run to make sure that is what I thought it was, and it was. So while making this shot, from that distance with these white dot sights, it literally would cover the entire target. You couldn't see what you were shooting. So using the Elmer Keith technique, you were able to raise it out of the back notch. I can't breathe. Out of the back notch, allowing you to keep your accuracy, aim, and also still see the target, which is key because it was a hard shot, not gonna lie. But yeah, it went great, and Elmer knows what he's talking about. And for such a small gun to be able to take that hit, I'm very impressed with this. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and I'll see you out on the range.
That was awesome. Hey, can I try that one? Yeah, let's do it with the 380. Does everybody have eyes and ears?
Hi guys, I'm down here at the range today. I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead
Hi, welcome to Tommy Gun Warehouse. We have a short video for you this afternoon. We want to show you how to work the action on a P380. This is our very small pocket 380 that it has a very strong spring, to work the slide. And this is because it's a very small gun, and we need to have that extra spring tension to actually make the gun work properly. So today I want to show you how to properly work the action. Ladies sometimes find it very difficult, not to mention some men find it difficult to work the slide. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how to hand a firearm to someone properly. The ejection port should be up, the slide is back, and nothing in the magazine well. Then you take this and you hand it to somebody in this manner. They should then verify that it is empty and nothing in the magazine well. And now what I want to show you is how to work the action on this P380. It's sometimes difficult for men, and many times difficult for women, but if you know how, it's not that difficult. So Di is going to start out by facing at a 45-degree angle downrange. The gun is going to be, the axis of the barrel is going to be the same axis as her forearm. She's going to keep it closer to her chest, and then reaching over the top with her weak hand, she's going to make sure that this ejection port is clear, that her hand isn't in the way, because you don't want to have an accidental detonation of a primer and injure your hand. So using the upper body strength, you're going to, just work it together, push and pull at the same time, and lock it back. And it's just that simple. You might not get it the first time, but all it takes is a little practice and learning how to use your muscles, and you'll do just fine. Di had started this just a short time ago, and after the third or fourth attempt, she was doing it perfectly. So thanks for listening. Come down and see us at Tommy Gun Warehouse, and we'll show you this P380. Yes, sir.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this Friday, November 3rd, 2017. Saying King Report live from the Chanigung Palace, all the kings and queens of the Kingdom of God. Now, today we are joined on a third hour with Donna Lee Merritt, treasurer of Berks County Republican Women, wife, mother, entrepreneur, conservative, grassroots political activist, born in Chestnut Hill, raised in Montgomery County, now resides in Berks County. Also, she is a Berks County committee person and treasurer of Berks Republican Women. She writes, I am pro-property, tax elimination, pro-life, pro on bathroom privacy, and pro-small government. I love my God, my family, and my country, and I will defend each of them at any cost. Donna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Well, there's so many things we could talk about, but I love this in your statement here, pro on bathroom privacy. Now, that was a big issue, especially when Obama was in, because, of course, he was trying to federally mandate having these transgender bathrooms. What is the status on that?
Well, I'll tell you what it is right here in our very own county of Berks County. We have a federal court issue going on right now because there was a young woman who wanted to now be a boy, and she was given, without notice to any student or parent, given permission to use the boys' locker room. So here is a young woman who is very well endowed, changing with her bra on in the boys' locker room with no one had any advanced warning. So the boys all of a sudden are staring at this girl with her bra in the locker room. One was extremely offended by this. Him and his family brought this to the school board's attention, brought it to the principal's attention. They come to find out that the superintendent, all on his own, decided that it was okay for this person to do this. No warning sent anywhere. Then it comes to pass that four young men and their families were bringing a lawsuit because of this, and we are still fighting it here in little humble Berks County.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean,
believe it or not.
oh my goodness, this is like the power of mainstream media, Hollywood, them continue to like brainwash the children, telling them, hey, it's all about how you feel. If you feel like a boy today, you can be a boy. If you feel like a girl tomorrow, you can be I mean, that's not even scientific. There's absolutely zero scientific evidence for that type of thing. And the fact that they're trying to say that they're going against basic biology, that you don't have X and Y chromosomes. And it's just, and you have people like Bill, the science guy, Bill Nye, the science guy, who's trying to make shows about this. I mean, it's just anti-scientific. It's anti-modern. It's almost cultish what they're trying to put on the young people. And like these young people are like, they actually believe this rhetoric that is being taught to them. It's unbelievable.
Oh, they are. They're believing it. It is actually, from my understanding and what I'm reading, it is now trendy and cool to say you are transgender. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's the hip thing to do.
It's the next protected class that the Democratic Party wants to enslave.
They do. And, you know, it's really sad. And they have been learning this. And, you know, they've also, you know, it has been catered to also with the bullying message that's going through, with no place for hate. You know, you can hate, you know, morality, but you cannot hate all of these new feelings that are coming out. You know, these people are having these new feelings that are coming out. You can't hate those. But that's the message they're sending in our schools. And Boyertown is it's right on the banner outside there's high school, you know, no place for hate.
Wow.
But that it's a message that's only sending to one, you know, they're sending it on one side, you know, and you see this going through Berkeley and all the colleges. You know, there's no place for hate, but hey, you know, you can hate morality and it's okay. Like anybody with morals, it's okay to hate, but this liberal message, you're not allowed to hate it. You know,
right.
And that's
you can only hate. You can't hate anything that's against a liberal message, but you can.
Yes.
You can hate everything every other position that's saying criticizing it or whatever. That's fine to hate, but the conservatives or anybody else with morals can't hate anything that they do, even though they're trying to hypersexualize children.
That's
right. They're trying to, give them sex education classes at 5 years old in Chicago. They're doing that in the UN program. I mean, and trying to make these children think that they can change their gender, biological gender, by their feelings.
Isn't that crazy?
It's incredible. Yes. And they're not even requiring the parents to sign off or a doctor to sign off or anything like that.
Nope.
It's just like they just declare it.
Yep. I no longer call them schools. I call them government indoctrination camps.
That's really exactly
government indoctrination camps. Yep, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yep. And it's so anti-family. It's so anti-marriage. It's so anti-man and woman. It's so anti, real gender. It's so anti-Christian. Everything is just to tear down, the fabric of, American civilization, which is really founded on that love of God and country and freedom and sovereignty.
Oh, exactly. And that's what our founders, had in mind for all of this. But, I don't know if you want to call it the liberal left. I mean, it's so much more than just liberal left. I believe there are forces bigger than that, but, I don't want to sound like some conspiracy theorist, but, it's just, they want to tear us down. They bring in, they open up our borders, they open up our visa programs, they open up our refugee programs, and they're just pouring all of these people who are more, they're really a problem. They're not, prosperous. They're not prosperous type people, and they really want to bring us down. They want to bring our Western civilization ways down. They want to bring our morality down. They want to bring our Christian morals. They want them removed, and they want to bring us down to a level that is not, what we are used to having. And we're going to end up being a third world country if we don't wake up,
Well, they'll be delighted to see that. They want to hang America's head on the wall so bad. I mean,
do.
look
That's
at the people they're trying to bring in. Look at this terrorist that just killed 8 and maimed over 20 people, you know, running over them with a bus. I mean, in New York City, right here. I mean, it's like all the things that are happening in Europe, like the stabbings, the acid attacks to women's faces. I mean, this is just like now being imported to the U.S. This person was on a diversity visa.
All in the name of diversity. All in the name of, yep, all in the name of diversity. And, you know, that's not what our founding fathers wanted. That's not what the, you know, the whole idea of America was put upon. That's not the, what do they call us? Not, I don't want to say potluck. What's the word I'm looking for?
Right, the melting pot, right.
That's not the whole melting pot idea, because diversity on demand is not organic. That's not how, you know, our system works. We just work on people who want to be here, who want to accept our way of life, who desire the American dream. Those are the types of people we want here. It's not to be demanded, you know, or diversity on demand by government. That's not how our forefathers saw it. And that's not how we started and how we became such a great country. It's not like, it's by freedom for people to choose to come here. That's how we were started, not this, you know, diversity on demand. I'm sorry. That's just not the way it's supposed to be.
No, it's absolutely right. You know, Tim was just mentioning the other day that it used to be the case for the immigration process that if you were a communist, for example, that would be a qualification for you not to be allowed into the United States, because that would be an ideology that is antithesis and destructive to the very fabric of, you know, of America's culture, of, you know, freedom and sovereignty and human rights. And of course, it's a problem. If you believe in Sharia law, that should replace the U.S. Constitution, that is a serious problem. That is a serious problem if you believe Sharia law should be above and replace the U.S. Constitution.
Yes. So why then does that crazy woman, what is her name, with the little hijab that gets on everywhere? George Soros funded. Yes, Salvatore. Why is she allowed to just, you know, voice her platform? Because she has stated in public that she's for Sharia law. Like, why do we allow her to do this?
I mean, she's so liberal and trendy, apparently. She's so popular and modern because she wants to, you know, mutilate women's genitalia. She wants to allow for, you know, child marriage at 5 years old. You know, that's all Sharia law. So, I mean, I guess that's the new liberal. That's the new trendy. It's Hollywood, baby.
When I saw the American women, let alone they were wearing pussycat hats and vaginas on their head during the Women's March, then they started putting on American flag hijabs. Like, I'm like, what planet am I on? Do you guys understand that covering your head is like the most anti-freedom thing that you can do? Okay, and here you are allowing this person of an alternate culture of ours to put an American flag and cover up your head with it. I was just like, that is so, I just could not believe women in America were freely doing that. And they were just allowing themselves to be covered, you know, have their heads covered, let alone with an American flag. Do you remember seeing those pictures?
Absolutely. You know, they have that many times on their propaganda. You know, those famous pictures of Obama, I think the same artist did it, where she's wearing the hijab, the Muslim American is wearing the hijab with the American flag. I mean, it's almost like, you know, like this innuendo of, hey, you know, one day the American flag will be under dominion of Sharia law. I mean, the artist almost.
I know, right? And you know, it's crazy because you can see clearly back in like the 60s and 70s that a lot of these countries, these women were wearing westernized clothes. They were going to colleges, you know, and now, you know, their towns are, you know, vacant because women can't walk around there freely. They're not, and now they're not even going to school. Well, thank goodness. Oh, geez, thank you, Saudi Arabia. Your women are allowed to drive now.
Oh, yes, they're allowed to drive, but you can still beat them with a stick if they don't wear their burqa.
Right.
You know, because that's New Hollywood.
Yep.
I mean, it's just it's
shame.
incredibly,
Shame.
it's incredibly insane. I mean, anyways, I don't know how we got on this conversation, but you're also the Berks County Committee person. How important is it for patriot-minded people, for people with Christian morals that respect the founding fathers, that know the real history of the founding fathers, that even though the left tries to say they're all slave owners, it was only actually 33% of them that had slaves, 66% of them did not. And the ones that had slaves were actually trying to free them, but it was against Virginia law. For example, like George Washington wanted to free his slaves, but it was against the law. So he said, okay, I'll do the second best thing, which is when I die, I want you to be free. You know, so the reality of and the Protestant ethic, all that thing that builds prosperous, ethical society where people abide by the contracts and freely associate in a prosperous way. I mean, how important is it for us, or patriots and people with a Christian ethic, to start taking back our counties? I mean, from the federal control.
Well, it's very important. My family and I spent our summer vacation in Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Yorktown. And let me tell you, we learned a lot about what you were just talking about. And it is absolutely important for us to do that. Otherwise, we're going to end up in socialism, because that's what our founding fathers were basically getting away from. You know, they were getting away from government control. They were getting away from, you know, the government telling them what they could say, how they could worship, you know, what they could do. And it's very, very, very important. We start here in our, you know, counties, in our school. I mean, we talked about the bathroom bill. We have got to get reasonable, sensible, moral people on these school boards, on their township boards, to sit there and say, you know, hey, you know, we cannot have, we have to protect our privacy for our children. You know, we can't have these crazy bathroom bills, which allow, you know, people who are men who clearly still have man parts, you know, in the locker rooms and bathrooms with our, you know, beautiful daughters. We cannot have it happen. And so that's one of the reasons we have to start right here, you know, with our school boards and our, you know, and our township supervisors right here, down here. Yep, right in the lowly positions in your county.
You know, sometimes it feels so overwhelming because the amount of evil and all the things from Hollywood and Silicon Valley and all this, it's so much. And so people feel just like, hey, I'm powerless. I can't do anything about it. But even we had our commissioner, chairperson, commissioner chairman, Matt Ossenberg, on the other day, and he would say, hey, it's important. He got started just by, you know, showing up at a local township meeting, and he just showed up for like a year when he was 27 years old. And then after a year, they said, hey, Matt, do you want to be the township supervisor, or whatever the position was? And it was as simple as that. Just showing up sometimes gets you active.
Yes, you just have to start getting involved. You have to start, like you said, showing up, voicing a small opinion, just, you know, being there. We have to do this. I know it takes us out of our comfort zone. I know sometimes it takes us away from our families for a little bit, but you know what? You just have to do it. You know, I was in no way politically involved whatsoever when I met my husband, and he wasn't necessarily involved, but he was very informed because he was a member of Cato, and he got all this information, and he, you know, listened to news that I never listened to, but because, you know, I was not brought up that way. So, but once you start, because, I mean, just me listening, like walking into his office by listening to the news he was listening to, I was like, does that really happen? Are they really doing that? And he would answer me, yes, I've been trying to tell you that, my dear wife, you know, and I'd be like, oh my goodness, you know, and then once I heard the name Barack Hussein Obama was running for president of the United States, I said, who? What is his name? I was like, wait a minute, let me check into this person, you know? And I started listening to his campaign, and I was in total shock, you know? I had no idea. And then I knew something was seriously wrong, and I was seriously missing out on something, and I just had to find out. And that's when all those little Tea Party groups were having their things, and I just started going to a meeting. It wasn't a school board meeting, but it was a Tea Party meeting actually that started me. And I just went and listened, and you know, they started talking about, you know, American values and morals, and you know, the left and their ideas. And I was like, I had no idea. I really didn't. I would say, you know, let me see, America 12 years. So probably 10 years ago, I had no clue that all of this stuff was going on. And because my mom always handled it. You know what I mean? That was my mom's job. You know? Right. And so, yeah, so she never brought me up in it. So I'm telling you right now, my daughter goes to every rally, every trip to Harrisburg, any time that I can take her along on any of these ventures, she goes with me. Any meeting she comes to, you know, and that I can bring her along, because she's going to know this to be a lifestyle, you know, because was not brought up in me. Even though my mom was very involved, she never brought me up in it. They don't teach you that in school. You know, they barely teach you, you know, about the Constitution, you know, and that was back in the day, let alone today, you know, which obviously they're not learning. I was reading an article this morning or yesterday morning, I can't say this morning, that 71% of millennials believe that socialism is a good thing. 71%.
Yeah, and then I saw another article today that say 51% actually want to live in a socialist country.
It's because that's what they've been indoctrinated with. But the thing is, they have no idea. They have no idea. No idea. They really don't even know. I'd say, you know what? Let's give them a life lesson. Let's buy them a plane ticket, send them to Cuba or Venezuela right now, and you go and tell me if that's how you really want to live.
That's right. That's right. That would probably cost less.
If you're alive in 6 months, we'll come back and you can tell us all about it.
Yeah, Trump should get rid of the Department of Education and then use that money to buy these kids plane tickets to go to Havana, Cuba, or to Venezuela, and just let them stay there as long as they want.
Yep. Well, like I said, if you're alive, we'll come get you and you can tell us all about it, because it is so bad in those places right now. To be, you know, it's really sad, very, very sad, very sad.
Well, it's amazing. It's like this, it's almost like a cultic level of brainwashing, because you have these people, even in the media, right? You have this in Europe, you have the BBC documentary makers they were saying, oh, there's no way in Sweden, there's these no-go zones and there's these Muslim neighborhoods that are violent. Come on, that's ridiculous. This is Sweden. This is the most Scandinavian, the most, Caucasian, place you can think of. And then the BBC documentary, blonde hair, blue eye, BBC documentarian or whatever, documentary reporter goes there, and within 1 minute, within 1 minute, her team is assaulted by a car almost driving over them, and then they go into the actual neighborhood and they're punched, the cans are thrown at them. I mean, and then she's traumatized.
I saw the whole documentary.
Did you see that? Oh my Lord!
They're in denial, and the media is, completely guilty. They are completely guilty. They're leaving people in the dark, and even when you see them assaulted like that, they still won't admit it. They just, nobody else takes on the story. It's hush, hush, hush. I mean, it's just like the Hillary story. It's the worst scandal in the whole world about her selling our 20% of uranium, yet nobody wants to talk about it.
Right, they were the Russian agents, and they're blaming Trump for everything they've done. And the Russian agents. Oh my!
The media is totally to blame for the dumbing down of America right now. They are like 90% responsible. Mm-hmm.
Well, look at this article here. It says millennials, communism sounds pretty chill. This report clearly reveals the need for educating our youth on the dangerous implications of socialist ideals. Look at this. In a Halloween tweet that's since gone viral, Donald J. Trump jokingly, although who really knows these days, took the opportunity to impart an important political lesson to his cute little daughter. And there his
I saw that.
Today.
Yeah.
Donald Trump Jr., okay, I'm going to take half of Chloe's candy tonight and give it to some kid who sat at home. It's never too early to teach her about socialism. Oh, that's what Donald Trump Jr. wrote.
Yep. And the crazy part is he got accounted for it, but that's exactly what it is, you know.
Oh my God.
I am so in. I am so sad for our country. That's what me and my daughter pray for. We just say, wake everybody up, wake the young people up, because the future, they're the ones that are going to be taking care of us when we're old, you know. And I'm over 50 now, so that's really scary to me. You know?
No, how important is that? Because I was even kind of, talking to my church congregation this morning to say, hey, because, there's some bickering. Every church has a little bit of bickering between brothers and sisters. But I was like, hey, guys, look, there's so much evil in the world. It's better to go after all this political Satanism that, that is destroying our youth, hypersexualizing them, trying to put them under Sharia law. I mean, it's better to go after them instead of bickering over this person's personality or this person's personality, things like that. And I'm sure not everybody's innocent. We're all sinners before God. But it's a better use for our energy, especially when 22% of American kids now view Karl Marx, Joseph Stalin, and Kim Jong-un as heroes, quote heroes.
I know. Can you believe that? I'm thinking,
here's the graph. Look at this graph. Oh my goodness. It's incredible.
You're totally vacant. But you know what? The sad part is, it's parents these days, they were probably partially indoctrinated too. They're not, like, I'm an old parent. Like, my daughter's 9 and I'm 51, so I'm older. But like a lot of these parents too, they were the ones that were in colleges when this started, and that was Hillary's thing. Hillary was studying under
Saul Alinsky,
yes, but she said he was always the one doing the demonstrations and the rallies, but she was the one that said, we need to get ourselves in the government. We need to get ourselves in the positions to make the post. That was her thing. She implemented that whole, that whole change right there. And that's what she's done. And that's what's happened. Her and her cronies have taught the children in colleges and in schools to think this way. And that's what's happened, and we've allowed it. And that's why it's so imperative that we get rid of these, indoctrination centers, get rid of them. I mean, and school choice, why school choice is so important. The only thing that worries me about school choice is that you're going from, and I'm going to be very honest from this, but some kids, like, because I noticed it in one of our Christian, like I go to a church that has a Christian school in it, and they have a program where they allow like some city kids into the school, and my daughter goes to a private Christian school, and the behavior of and I do a lot of work at church as far as the decorating goes, so I am in there when they're, the kids are active at school, and you can tell the difference in behavior.
Oh yeah.
At this school that has, probably a lot more folks that aren't raised with like good wholesome families in them, and I can see the behavior just by observing the children at school. It's a small school. Then when I go to my daughter's school, and I see the behavior of the children, which is much more respectful, of just the sanctuary. I mean, some kids, they can't even treat the sanctuary with respect, because they don't know. I think my only problem that I have with school choice, I just get a little nervous about who's going to be going to school with my kids,
Right. Well, but it's also done on purpose, especially to the inner city kids. A lot of we were just on with Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson the other day. And he was, and of course, the fact that the initial drug trades and the welfare state was targeted on the minority communities to basically break up the families. And that's, of course, what they're trying to do with the normal population as well. Even white America, they're trying to now break up their families, break up their marriages, break up everything, because that's like the standard communist doctrine: is you have to get rid of the father, you have to break up the marriages, break up the families. And that's how you then take over the young generations.
Well, it's a strong man. You got to take the strong man. That's biblical. You take the strong man out of the house, and you can have your way with the house.
Yeah, you need to get rid of the father. I mean, it's like absolutely critical for the socialists, and that's why they're like, it's like, have you seen these guys, like these Antifa guys, that like these little, almost like little gremlins like roaming the streets. They're like attacking these people in California. These Christians who were just praying. They were just praying for the country, and they're beating them with sticks. Have you seen this footage? It's outrageous.
No, I didn't see that footage. No.
And you got these kids that literally grew up on like video games and jelly beans. You know, they're malnourished. They're drinking fluoridated water. They're vaccinated. They're just like completely, you know, they're completely like hyper, and they're just, you know, they're just in La La Land, and they're going beating people up for praying.
Wow, no, I missed that one. I'm very sorry. That's sad. That's very sad.
Oh my goodness, because there was a whole Christian group that was praying for Berkeley, you know, because of the riots, because of Milo and all this kind of thing. And the Christian groups would come out and just say, hey, we want peace and we want peace. We don't like the fact that Milo's gay, but we want peace. You know, everybody has freedom of speech. And Antifa came out and beat these people over the head with sticks.
Wow.
I mean, that's assault. That's assault with a deadly weapon.
That is, and you know, the thing that bothers me about a lot of that with Antifa, now it has come to pass, the truth has been out, that since 2016, these people have been declared, this Antifa has been declared a domestic terrorist group.
Right,
okay?
exactly.
So why, okay, are they even allowed to make a peep? Whenever they start to peep, they should be immediately arrested, you know?
Well, it's interesting. You know what they've done? All they've done is just change the shell organization. Now they're called refusefascism.org. And that's still funded by the $18 billion of George Soros. And that's still funded by the hundreds of millions that is just pouring in. I mean, they took out $100 million ad in the New York Times to declare that on November 4th, they're havoc over the U.S. And
this is acceptable. Like, where are our representatives? Where is our government on this? Like, why is my governor allowing for them to, you know, entertain themselves here, you know, in Pennsylvania? Like, is it one of the November 4th is supposed to be here in Philadelphia? I mean, I don't live near Philadelphia, but in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. Like, why is my governor even allowing that to occur? You know, anybody wearing Antifa garb or swearing to be part of Antifa or whatever should be immediately arrested. They're a domestic terrorist group, according to our own federal government.
Exactly.
So why are they allowed to speak?
We're actually refuse fascism.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. People, you know, it's such a
crazy, right?
Have you seen the Antifa head of Australia who just quit Antifa? And he said he now put out an article on the web. We covered just a couple of days ago. But he is admitting that George Soros ordered them in Australia to start civil war and to become more dangerous than ISIS.
Yes, and that's why he quit. He says, this is not what I signed up for. Yes, I saw that. At least some people are starting to wake up, you know, and hopefully people will listen to somebody who's been involved, you know. I mean, I sit there almost every morning and I can't even believe some of the things that, like, we talk about, the topics that we talk about with our friends, with you, with my husband, with people on Facebook. I sit there and I say, like, I cannot believe that this is happening here in America. Like, what planet? Right? I know. I mean, did I wake up and on a different planet today or what? Because it is so unbelievably transformed to something that I grew up very patriotic. My family was in the service, you know, I wore my red, white, and blue scooter skirt to the 4th of July parade, you know, every year in Chestnut Hill. We dressed up our bikes with red, white, and blue. We drove down the streets with the parade. I mean, we went to, you know, and that's what I remember. And I just have this, I mean, I don't have like this, you know, I don't feel dominant over other countries because I live in the United States. I love my country because I have a lifestyle that most people in the world don't have, and it's pretty awesome, you know? And then to see these children just throwing it away and not even, they have no grasp of what our country and how it got here. When we were in Williamsburg and Yorktown and Jamestown this summer, like we stood on those battlefields and we were told like the plans and, people who lost their lives and how many, people lost their lives on this field. And not just, these people gave up their life because they knew it would be better for their family in the future. Like, can you even go look at a millennial today and say that you can envision them doing such a thing? You can't. Like, they are so self-absorbed. They have no clue,
I mean, they don't know they're taking money from a former Nazi collaborator, George Soros, and like what they're trying to replace Christian, honest culture with, where we treat each other, we love God, we love our neighbor, and we try to help one another. We associate with people who are honorable. They want to replace that with transgenders reading to our children in drag outfits with demon horns coming out, at public libraries, and hypersexual kids at private schools.
Oh my God, I saw the picture. I cringed.
Did you see Zucchi Mucci? That's Michelle Obama invited this tattooed trans drag queen.
I mean, I would never. If I brought my child to the library, I'd be walking off like within seconds. There is no way I would stand for that. Oh my gosh.
They're teaching the kids that this is normal behavior. This is normal. That's what they're trying to replace, and Christian culture with. And they're trying to say, kids, at 5 years old, you can determine your gender, and you can have sex with whoever you want, and just have a lot of babies, and we'll abort them for you. We'll make our private, Planned Parenthood business very wealthy. Just do whatever you want. I mean, it's like total mind control.
It's Sodom and Gomorrah, man. It's sad. It really is. You're totally right. They're indoctrinating the children. Do you know my friend, I don't want to mention names on the radio just because whatever, but she's also a radio talk show host, and she has talked to many people about, bathroom issues, like this whole transgender bathroom, thing. Yeah. And she has told me that she has spoken to people, and in one particular in person, that they have people in public schools that coax these children. The parents are not notified, okay? And they are given this job to, if a teacher sees, some child at one time in their life who's a boy playing with a doll or a girl playing with a truck, that they are literally coached, into something that's not natural. Like they'll say, oh, you have tendencies of a boy. Let's start, coaxing you into believing that you're a boy when you're actually a girl, just because you're acting, you make one little, kid makes one little motion, that doesn't seem to be on the spectrum of being a girl or a boy. And they want to start coaxing them to be a different gender. And the parents aren't told about this. And these people are in our public schools.
They're evangelists.
Yes. Oh, yeah, evangelists. Oh my goodness.
Well, what's so disturbing about the transgender issue is that in the end, you have all these men who are saying they're women and they're competing in these women's sports, and they're destroying the whole sports arena for women to actually compete.
Yes, they're stealing, the women's medals and their honors and stuff, because obviously a man can run faster. Obviously they can do a lot better things more than a woman could because of the way their bodies are made. And yes, they're stealing women's dreams. Yes, that's the real war on women. And the whole transgender thing is the real war. They can start stealing the funding too.
That are going to all girls schools or something like that, they can start stealing the funding that should be going to women.
That's true. That you're absolutely right. That's another venue they can steal from us women. Yeah, that's the real war on women. I mean, really.
And, there's so much to talk about, Donna. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe an hour just went by that quick. Just real quick.
We talked for an hour.
It was about an hour. It's amazing. It's already 8 o'clock. Already, it's the time of our broadcast to end. But just last words, how important it is for people to get active locally. If you could talk about that, just last words.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? The dog was barking. I had to shut my office door.
Oh yeah, just last words on how people should get activated and get involved in politics locally?
Definitely get involved. Start showing up at some of your meetings and some of your local RNC, your Republican parties. There's somebody coming to my door. My dog is barking like a maniac. But you have to get involved. You just have to. School boards especially. That is where you need to be. You need to start showing up and running for school boards because they are indoctrinating your children. And we need to, we definitely need to take part in that for sure.
Dawn, is there any way for people to get in touch with you or to support your work? Do you have any websites?
Honestly, no. I'm just a mom. You know, I mean, you can contact us at the Berks Republican Women. We'd be more than happy to talk to you and help you along the way at Berks Republican Women. We have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter page. You can look us up there, and I would be more than happy to talk to anyone who has questions. I really would. And I know my president would too, because we're very interested in women, especially, you know, moms and all of us and men getting involved in their local politics, for sure.
Well, you are a super mom, I'll tell you that much. I'm sure your family agrees with me on that. And of course, we need more moms that stand up for their families, stand to protect, you know, this civilization, you know, sovereignty, freedom. What a precious, precious gift given to us by Almighty God. Thank you, Donna, for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to talk with you. And everybody who joined us today, we thank you for joining us on the Kingdom Report this morning. Have a great day. God bless you.
And may His kingdom come.
By the power of His blood, amen, amen. I'm alive because He lives, amen, amen. Let my song join the world that never ends, because He lives. I was dead in the grave, I was covered